Welcome to Chiropractic Roots, the official podcast of the Kansas Chiropractic Association. Here we explore the stories, struggles, and successes of chiropractors across the Sunflower State. In each episode, we interview Kansas TCs to learn how their chiropractic journey began, how their practices took shape, and what lessons they've learned along the way. Whether you're a seasoned professional, a student, or simply chiropractic curious, you're in the right place to hear from the roots of the profession. I'm Dr. Travis Soller, Executive Director of the Kansas Chiropractic Association, the nation's first chiropractic association. Let's get adjusted. Our guest today is Dr. Jerry DeGrado. Dr. DeGrado, welcome to Chiropractic Roots, and please tell us a little bit about yourself.
Well, I'm Dr. Jerry DeGrado, practice in Wichita, Kansas I'm in my 40th year of practice. Married to a lovely wife, and I have 9 children, and that pretty much explains me.
Wow, 9 children. Are you from the Wichita area originally?
Grew up in Newton, Kansas, so yeah, I mean, Newton was kind of a bedroom city at the time, so yep,
Okay.
grew up close to Wichita.
Yeah. Now, what was your first experience with chiropractic?
It was probably in 8th grade. I did something on a trampoline and felt like one part of my mid back was going one way and the other was going the other. And I saw a practitioner here in Wichita named Dr. Mork. And Ingra put me back together again. And that was my start of my interest.
Now, when did you decide to become a chiropractor?
Well, I was a year in high school, and I'd been praying about what I'd always had the gift of knowing that my life had purpose or meaning. So I was either going to be a missionary or a chiropractor at that point. It's what I narrowed it down to. Um, my father was a D-Day survivor, Omaha Beach. And so I always knew that my life was a privilege because there was a lot of men that died on that beach. And so I wanted to make my life count. And so I had a dream one night that chiropractic was spelt in front of me. Probably didn't know how to spell chiropractic at the time, but it was proper spelling. I believe God was telling me that's what I needed to do. And since then, I've been able to do both, a chiropractor and a minister, so, or at least a mission person.
That's great. So, where did you go to chiropractic college?
Went to Logan University in St. Louis, Missouri. hmm
When did you graduate?
Graduated in 1985. And so this year is my 40th year reunion, supposedly. So 40th year of since graduation.
Congratulations on 40 years in practice. That's quite an accomplishment there. Um, do you remember how much you paid for chiropractic college and how you paid for it?
Yeah, I believe chiropractic college altogether was somewhere around 50,000. But that's with living expenses. That was everything. That was school, living in St. Louis. Obviously, when you go through chiropractic school, you really can't work a job, even though I did have a job, but it was impossible to really do that and have a job at the same time. So we are able to get Pell loans accordingly.
Do you know how much debt you had at graduation?
Yeah, about 25,000. I'd had paid half of it while I was going to school.
That's amazing. Listening to some of these other interviews, the numbers are all go from no debt at all to 125,000. The things have changed significantly
Mhm.
since then. Tell me about your first practice.
First practice, I came out and bought some equipment and took over a lease of an office space in Wichita and practiced there for maybe 2 months shy of 30 years. It was Harry and Oliver, which was close to at the time Boeing, and then it turned into Spirit. So I was down in the manufacturing area of Wichita, so saw a lot of aircraft workers.
How did you market that first practice?
The best way I marketed is I just went and met a bunch of people. My aim was to meet 500 people in the first 6 months, and every time I met someone that I made a connection with, I sent them a thank you note, and that's how I built my practice to start with.
So I'm going to assume back then those were handwritten thank you notes,
Yes, they were.
not an email.
No, they were stamped and everything. It was
Yeah.
legit.
There's a lot of power in doing those handwritten thank you notes that go through the mail. So many people don't receive anything like those anymore. Do you still do anything like that?
Yeah, I sure do. I do.
Good. Did you have a mentor early in your career?
Well, I'd say my mentor would be my brother, Dr. John DeGrado, who was practicing in Newton the whole time I was in school. So I got to see his office and watch his flow, and I'd have to say he's my mentor.
Wonderful. Good. Um, Now you said you've moved since that first office, correct? Where are you at now?
I moved twice. I moved over Kellogg and Oliver in a DOPS building, and now I'm in another DOPS building at 555 North McLean Boulevard in Wichita. So I've moved from kind of the southeast part of Wichita to more of the western mid downtown area, kind of the northern Delano area, I guess is what they call it.
Mhm. How long were you in practice before you started to feel like you knew what you were doing and you had it under control?
Oh, wow. Probably never thought I didn't have it under control, even though re in reality I probably didn't. But I'm still learning. So to be honest with you, I'm still having new things happen in my practice. So I don't think I've ever gotten to the point where I feel like I've got it all.
Mhm.
But I mean, confidence-wise, probably the first 5 years.
So, 40 years in practice, how do you think chiropractic has changed over that time?
Like I tell most people, when I came out, we were the redheaded stepchild of the healthcare profession, and we've never really been invited in. Now they want to, they always made fun of what we did. Now they want to do what we do, but they don't want to call it what we call it. So they went from making fun to us to wanting to be us, but still not giving us credit for the art of what we do. Maybe the
Mhm.
mechanics of what we do, but not the art. You can't do chiropractic without the art and the mechanics. Just the philosophy, it doesn't work.
How do you approach building patient trust and retention?
Communication, big time communication. And now it's so much easier because when you tell a patient you've been in practice for 40 years, they tend to trust your expertise or at least your history to know, that my practice has been built on referrals and not on advertising or solicitations or anything like that. So the type of patient I get is easy to retain. It's easy to follow through with care because they're the type of patient um, that I've actually purposed in my practice. If that makes sense.
Yeah, yeah, but could you elaborate a little bit on that?
Well, I mean, if you're doing free exams, which you can't call it that, let's say you're doing everything in a way that discounts your services, and people will take advantage of that, but they never really see the true value in that. So if you don't hold value in yourself and you don't charge what you think you're worth, or if you discount what you think you're worth, then people can read that. They read it on your forehead. So um, the philosophy of getting paid what I'm worth, maybe not seeing, the 5 times patients some successful doctors say see. But seeing, having value in each one that comes in. So I don't know if that answers your question, but um, having value in yourself in chiropractic itself.
Yeah, we've had another doctor that mentioned it, having believing and knowing that you're able to help the patients out. That ability inside of you to know that if I can't help you, I know where to send you, kind of
Yeah.
idea, instead of being timid and afraid when you see patients. But yeah.
Yeah, I think that, yeah, I see that a lot. I actually have patients come over, let's say with a low back disc, and younger doctors out of school or want to touch them and want to adjust them. And I'm like, what'd you go to school for? So for an old timer like me, um, if there's no contraindications, you always need to adjust. You need to do what you went to school to do
Mhm.
because I've seen it, the success of that over and over and over again. I would literally not be in practice more than 5, 7 years if what I did didn't work. Because
Right.
I can't sell yellow snow to anybody. I'm not a good salesperson. But what I do and how the art of what I was taught does work.
Yeah, that is true. You've got to believe in what you do. Wonderful. How do you stay involved in your local community?
Oh, many different ways. I've been a member of the East YMCA Men's Club for over 25 years and, work, in nonprofit like that. I'm actually now involved with Fellowship of Christian Athletes, the state of Kansas, and one of their development associates. So I've done a lot there the last few years, but in through my church and then small groups and just getting to meet people. Um, Also, there's a great cycling community here in Wichita, and I took up gravel biking probably about 5 years ago, which has helped with my health and made me a heck of a lot younger than I was even in my 40s now that I'm in my 60s, to be honest with you. But I'm meeting a lot of people there and staying engaged with all that. It helps, yeah. Now, besides the fact that my wife has delivered over 1,000 babies, so no matter where I go, I am now Deidre's husband. I'm no longer Dr. DeGrado. I've stopped being Dr. DeGrado about 10 years ago. So I,
Yeah, wow.
I'm her husband,
It's
which
nice.
is I'm fine with that. Totally fine with that.
Yeah. Where do you think or hope chiropractic will go in the future?
Well, I hope it stays in the art and the practice of chiropractic. I hope that never leaves. And what I mean by that is adjusting a purposeful adjustment to correct subluxation. I mean, I hope it stays there. I hope it doesn't go anywhere else that it needs to go. So I think that even being outside the major healthcare providing systems is also a good place for us to be because there's nobody like us right now. I've recently went through some issues with my heart, which I'm fine, but got to see the other side of it, and medical care is not care. And even though I went to some great practitioners, and I have great practitioners taking care of me, the system is just well below average, and we need to keep a personal touch, not only touching our patients, but making sure that we care for them the way that we need to care for them. I hope that never leaves.
Hmm.
Hope we
Good.
don't get so integrated into the medical system we become robots.
Yeah. What do you wish you knew when you first started into practice?
Oh, I wish I would. That's a great question. I think the one that surprised me the most, which is very sad, but I was not prepared to see the abused women that I saw in my practice to start with. That blew me away. No one ever told me at school that, Mary Sue would come into me at least 3 times a year, and somehow she fell up the steps and down the steps that many times. And to find out the whole psychology of that and how harmful that is to not only her but the children, and it was a very sad thing. I wish I was more prepared for that. I had to really dig in for that, but I mean. I don't think you can be completely prepared coming out of school any way, shape, or form. I know probably the blanket answer is, I wish I had more business, but they don't even teach you how to balance a checkbook in high school. So there's that.
Now, I know that you're currently on the Board of Healing Arts. You've been president of the board in the past. Is there
Mhm.
anything that being on the Board of Healing Arts has taught you that you'd like to share?
Well, first of all, I've been on for 10 years and I've got 2 years left. I've really enjoyed being on the Board of Healing Arts. We're very well respected by other professions. I've learned that through it. You have this perceived notion in your head, but until you really communicate with medical doctors and osteopaths and PTs and OTs and ATs and all the T's, you don't realize where we stand there, and that's been really refreshing. What I've learned is there's nothing that won't phase a successful, very bright intelligent practitioner that won't affect anybody else. I mean, sex, drugs, and rock and roll still bother and mess up lives, and it can take seconds for someone to really mess up their whole lives, not only just their license or their career, but their families. It's just sad to see some of the things we see, but it's also just as good to see those that we've been able to rehab and get to the other side and become, productive providers again and just productive people. I can't tell you how many people we've had stand at the podium and thank us for the discipline we put them under because it saved their lives or it saved their livelihoods or it saved their marriage. And so if you're humble enough, we're human, we all make mistakes. None of us, or at least myself, it's very humbling. I know, I'm a human and I make mistakes and I don't feel I'm above anything I've ever seen on the Board of Healing Arts. So I realize that I could be standing there at the podium. So I try to take that approach and try to help. And if you own it and you want help, you're going to get it. If you don't own it and you want to be, let's say, non-compliant, it's going to be a rough road. So
Yeah, and I understand as a member of the Board of Healing Arts, your main concern is safety of the public and making sure that practitioners can practice in a safe manner. But it's great to know that you guys also want to make sure that those practitioners can rehab their lives and get back to doing what they spent so much time and money to become.
yeah. Yeah, obviously our main purpose is to protect the public, but if we can rehab and and bring a provider from, let's say, even provider burnout to a place where they're happy in practice again, man, that's what we need to be doing. It's not, our first aim is not to discipline, because that's not productive, and we need all the providers we can get in the state of Kansas, especially good ones. So.
Yeah. Do you have an exit strategy, a retirement plan, or are you going to work until you die?
My strategy has always been they're going to pull me out of my office at some point and I'm just going to drop. That still might be the possibility, but right now, even though I'm 63, I have a junior in high school. When you have 9 kids, they end up on all spectrums of the age group. So, I've got a few years I need to practice, you know, um, all that then also depends on the environment I'm in, if I'm going to be able to continue to practice in this group practice, you never know. So, I don't know what my exit strategy might be. I think right now, when you've been called to something and you haven't been called out of it, you stay there. And I haven't been called away from chiropractic yet. So I'm still here, will be for a while, that as long as God's will is what it is.
Mhm. Great. What's one thing that your patients might be surprised to learn about you?
Oh, let me see. There's multiple things. Probably, well, I was on Dr. Phil one time. Um,
Okay.
I've done Home Shopping Network. I had a sports radio show for a few years that I under a different name. Um, there's a few others, but those probably come to more, that would be maybe. I mean, I have pictures of all my kids up, so they that's a big wow when they see all the kids, but most of them know I have 9 kids.
Mhm.
So
Yeah. So Dr. Phil, Home Shopping Network, and sports radio.
yeah.
Those are not traditional practice building techniques I've seen, but they seem to work for you, huh?
I didn't do them to build a practice, believe me, they just happened.
Great. Well, Dr. DeGrado, that's the end of my questions. I thank you for being here with us today on Chiropractic Roots. Is there anything else you'd like to add?
I appreciate the opportunity and appreciate the Kansas Chiropractic Association. I've been in your shoes, so I know what it's like to keep a membership going. So hats off to you.
Well, thank you. Thank you again for being with us today. I really do appreciate it. Have a great day. Thank you for tuning in to Chiropractic Roots, brought to you by the Kansas Chiropractic Association. If you enjoyed today's episode, be sure to subscribe, leave a review, and share it with a fellow chiropractor or student. To learn more about the KCA in our mission to support chiropractic in Kansas, visit kansaschiro.com. Until next time, stay grounded, stay growing, and keep adjusting.